Hello, my name's Maria and you're watching the Richardson Simple Living. Today's Friday, so we do our tea and chat on Friday, but I haven't had tea for a while and I haven't got tea today. I was going to, but I have just come back from town and I bought a Costa coffee back with me, so I don't need to make a drink. So yeah. We've just got some more questions today. I haven't got many more left actually. I've run out of questions now to answer. I've not got many more left, but I will do what I've got left if I can find where I've put them. Turn it onto the wrong page. Oh, there they are. And we'll just cover the questions got left. I mean, you can drop me questions anytime down in the comments under any video, and I'll put them together and answer them, or just have a quick chat and answer them. But yeah, we'll move on to something else next week if I've got no questions to answer. We'll still have our tea and chat, but it'll probably be topical things. I'll collect things in the week that I think, about when you think, I don't like that, I don't like the sound of that, or that's good, or, sort of news headlines. I mean, it's all doom and gloom mostly at the moment, but I'll try and pick out some interesting things or something that I think, that's good, or something that's not so good. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. But anyway, I'm waffling a little bit just in case you're making yourself a drink. So, like I say, I've already got mine. I've had a latte from the Costa shop. I always just have a plain latte, and it's made with whole milk because they're nice and creamy. They are nice. Still red hot. But like these, we bought these, they're proper Costa mugs. See there. And had them, I think, I'm not sure if it was a wedding anniversary or a birthday, and we all had some, and they're good because it keeps your drink hot all day. So they're not paying me to say this, not unless anyone from Costa's listening wants to send me a free coffee. But they are very good mugs. They are good travelling mugs. So yeah, when we go and do our shopping, then we get a Costa, then it keeps hot till you get back, and you have a little sip along the way. So they are good. Anyway, we'll get on with the questions now. You've probably made a drink, those of you who are going to. So I'm going to start with, what was my favourite childhood toy? I had quite a few. I suppose really because like different ages you have different favourite things, don't you? I mean, it's not like when you're a teenager your favourite wouldn't be a doll. But yeah, so I suppose like different stages. I know when I was very young I liked having dolls, and I remember having a doll and a cot because I used to like playing Dolls Hospitals, and I think it was in one of the comics that I read it. It was might have been Twinkle, and there was this nurse Nancy, and she had the Dolls Hospital, and I always wanted to have a Dolls Hospital. So it's a wonder I didn't grow up and learn how to fix dolls and teddies and mend them and repair them like a Dolls Hospital. That would be such a cool thing to do. So yeah, I think even now perhaps I could do that, but I'm not very good at mending things, fixing things. I'm one of these, I'm more likely to break even further if I try and attempt to fix something. So yeah, when I was young, I was definitely like dolls. And I remember once having a Pippa doll. Don't know if any of you have heard of the Pippa dolls. They were about, so big, small they were, little dolls, and had all accessories and everything. I love dolls that you could dress up and have accessories to. I thought that was brilliant. But I tell you what I did like doing as well. I mean, this was something that wouldn't cost anything. My mum used to run catalogues when we were children, and when she got a new catalogue, then the old season's catalogue she'd let us have, and I used to like cutting out the models and making clothes for them and stuff like that. And like when you'd had an empty cereal box, if you cut your model out and then draw around it on cereal box, and you could stick it down to give it that little bit more stability, because it's only paper in the magazine, in the catalogue. So I used to do that and used to make clothes and things like that for it, and I'd cut out accessories from the catalogue, so I used to enjoy doing that. And of course that cost pennies, just for a bit of glue or some crayons if you're making your own clothes, a bit of paper, much cheaper than having actual dolls. But I enjoyed making paper dolls. They were really good. So yeah, I'd probably even like doing them now, but I'm not very good at drawing. And you don't get catalogues like you used to. You don't even get them in Argos anymore. Everything's online, isn't it? So yeah, when I was young, that was the sort of thing I like. Then when I got to teenage years, I remember one of my favourite, it wasn't so much a toy, more like electronic gadget, but I had it for Christmas, and that was like a cassette player, and that was really good, and it had a microphone to sing in it, and you could tape, like Top of the Pops used to tape the favourite songs, putting it up to the telly, and I really loved that. That was a good toy gadget as well. So yeah, I remember having a piano accordion one Christmas. Well, my mum wanted me to have a tea set, but I had picked a piano accordion because she used to save in this, what they call DuPont's club. And they used to come round every week, and you gave them so much, you wrote it in a book. And then nearer to Christmas time, they'd come round with a van and show you all the different toys and things, and you could pick out what you wanted. So my mum wanted me to have a tea set, but I chose this piano accordion, and I loved that. I could never play it, but I liked trying because it was a children's one. It had like little coloured sticky circles that you put on the keys, and like a music book, so you learn to do it that way, which is good. I could play the piano bit that way, but of course I can never get this pushy bit right to it all, but I enjoyed trying. I loved doing that. Was really good. Wish I'd kept some of these things, really. Don't know what happened to it. So yeah, I think they were some of my sort of top favourites. I mean, we had all kinds of toys, and I'll probably walk away and think, oh, I never said about such and such. But yeah, because at Christmas, I mean, we didn't have loads and loads like children get today. We had like a main present, and a main present might be, for me, it could be a doll, or like I said, the cassette player. For my brothers, it might be Action Men and maybe a tank to go with it. Like I had a doll and cart, they might have an Action Man and tank or something like that. Remember one year, my brothers having these sets of, like, one had Indian gear and the other cowboy gear, and they had this teepee and things like that. And one of my brothers had a space suit as well, and so they'd be like the main present. And then we'd all have a board game each. We love board games. To this day I like board games, so we all had a board game each, which was good because there was four of us, so there was always someone to play it with. And it wasn't like having one game because we all had one. It was like having four games because we all play with each other to play the games. So that was really good. And might have a jigsaw and a book, and then we'd have like a stocking that had got all like little bits in this sort of, like you'd have sort of Poundland knickknacks now, but they weren't so flimsy as that in them days. But you'd have like the game jacks, and we'd have maybe some fruit in it or some chocolate in it and things like that. A mix of lots of little different bits and pieces. My brothers might have had little plastic soldiers in, other bits and pieces, depending what there was, really. Or we always had sugar mice in them as well. Oh, I hated that. I hated the sugar mice. I don't like sugar as it is. Some of my brothers would have a sugar sandwich, a sprinkle of sugar over. I could not stomach nothing like that, nothing at all. So I hated these sugar mice. They were revolting. So I always gave that away. But yeah, my mum never bought me anything different, even though I kept saying I didn't like it. Could have bought me a chocolate mouse or something, but no. So yeah, then sort of things then we'd have. Next, are there any unsolved mysteries that interest me? I think when people think of unsolved mysteries, everybody automatically thinks something like Jack the Ripper or something like that. And I suppose it would be nice to know who did it. Although I did watch a documentary on it not so long ago about they'd done DNA testing on this shawl that they'd kept from one of the victims. And it DNA tested to some great-great-grandchild of one of the suspects. So that's sort of made that suspect go higher up. Now obviously they're dead now, but that's what they're thinking now, who's done it. I can't remember the names of the person, but yeah, they were saying that because it matched, it was a likelihood that was the suspect. So I suppose things like that we always think of. I got a mystery in the family. In one line of my family, there was I can't remember what she's to me now without writing it down, that she's so many times cousin. But because one side of my family came from Suffolk, they came from France, Picardy in France, came over to Suffolk, and they lived there for donkey's years up until I think my great-great-granddad was the first one born round parts near where I live. prior to that, when they came from France, they were down in Suffolk, down in Framlingham area, and all that area. And a lot of them areas sound similar. But one of my so many times cousins, there was a murder mystery. She was a young girl and supposedly having a relationship with this, not a vicar, but something to do with the churches they went to. There's so many different churches and their leaders are all called different names. I can't remember what it was. I've got the book on it, and there was a documentary done on it. I've got the DVD of that as well. But she's supposed to be having an affair with this like vicar type person, lay preacher, I don't know, second in commander, I don't know, but something high up in their church, their chapel or whatever. She was a servant girl, and one morning, her dad went round, because her mum always did the laundry for her, and the dad collected it, went round one morning with it, and there she was lying with the throat cut on the floor. And she was with child, she was 6 months pregnant. So I've been down there, I saw the house, I've been to the grave, and of Rose Harsent, her name was Rose Harsent. She was murdered the turn of the 1900s, 1902, something like that. Something beginning of the 1900s. I should have wrote it down really, but I like the questions just to surprise me. I write them all down, forget about them, and so I can answer them off my head, sort of thing, rather than just sit and plan them. But yeah, she got murdered, and they all thought it was this vicar person, but he was a married man and got children, and one of his children was sick, and apparently his wife's called something like Georgina. She'd been round and had got medicine off Rose, because she'd got some medicine or something, and this medicine was found there, or a broken bottle. I can't remember the whole story. I should have looked it up really, but you can Google it, the murder of Rose Harsent, and there was a big court case about it. In the end, the vicar person got let off, and Gardner, the surname was Gardner, so his wife was Georgina Gardner, and they say it was her. Another distant cousin had actually spoken to the ancestors of these Gardners, the great-grandchildren, and she never said what they said, but they were a bit cagey. They didn't like talking about it or something, but everybody's got their thoughts on it. So I don't know. I would like to know who done that. I mean, it does look like it was probably him or his wife. If you look at the story, go and Google it and look at the story, then you can get like all the information and all the suspicious activities around it. But there was also a boy next door as well that was pursuing her. And even he appears like he could be a suspect, because I was thinking he could likely be a suspect, but I don't know. Maybe on reflection, maybe it was this Georgina Gardner, the wife, did it. Possibly, I don't know, but they got away with it anyway, and she had a throat cut, and obviously the baby died as well, because she was 6 months pregnant. So that's one of the murder mysteries I would like to solve, but I don't suppose we ever will. But if you get a chance and you're interested in unsolved mysteries, Google the murder of Rose Harsent. It was in Peasonall in Suffolk. If you Google it and look at all the facts and that, and then, see what you think. Can't remember what relative she was to me. I mean, we share so many times great-grandparents, but she was so many times cousin. I've got written in one of the books what cousin she is to me and which line we've come through. So yeah, that's that. Next question is really random and different. Would I go to space? No. No, I would not. I was watching not so long ago about them astronauts who got stuck in space. Those two who went up to the space station and they got stuck there. And when they came back a few weeks ago, I think it was, and I was thinking how awful that would be, how claustrophobic and horrible that would be to be stuck up there and not knowing whether you can get back safely. I mean, you go out on the road and you worry about travelling because of accidents. I mean, imagine going up there. No, I have absolutely no interest in being in space at all whatsoever. I was created to be on Earth, and Earth I will stay. So yeah, I can't read this one. What is my favourite candle scent? Oh, do I like candles? And what is my favourite candle scent? Yeah, I do like candles. Some of you have probably seen me showing off Christmas candles, or I've seen them in the background. I don't burn a lot of them. I tend to have one, and I like the Yankee candles, and the woodwick candles are nice as well, but mostly the Yankee ones. My favourite scent is vanilla. I like the vanilla ones. I've got a vanilla one on the go at the moment, about halfway down that, but yeah, I do like them. More in winter than in summer, though. I think they're quite cosy in winter, and because you're indoors, you're going to get the smell of it more, whereas in summer you're in and out, the doors are all open, and you don't get the scent of it the same, because you've got windows open, the smell's just going, so it seems a bit of a waste more in summer, but more winter time. But yeah, I like Yankee candles, the vanilla flavour. I like the cinnamony flavours as well near Christmas, the Christmassy smells of spice and that, they're nice as well. So yeah, and my daughter Lisa, she loves candles, and she likes the gingerbread smells. She says they're nice, but they do smell quite nice. They remind you of Christmas, sort of warm, homely smells they are. So yeah, what time was I born? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. All I know about the story of my birth is that I was 2 weeks early. I was very small, not small in the sense of what do you call it? When you're born too early, premature. Not small in that sense, but I was a small baby anyway. I was about £5, I think. My mum said I was £5, quite a petite baby. And I was 2 weeks early, which isn't an issue really, but the reason for that, my mum's always blamed my dad, because she said that she was due to go to antenatal and they went to the hospital for antenatal, and she got 2 weeks left to go. So my dad insisted on sitting on the upstairs of the bus. My dad liked the double-decker buses, the top deck, so he insisted taking my mum onto the top deck, and my mum says all it was bumps all the way to the hospital. The bus was so bumpy. I mean, we talk about potholes now, they must have been the thing back then as well, bumpy roads. So yeah, she said she blames it on that. She says we got to the hospital, and when she went into antenatal, they said, oh, you're already in labour. And my mum blamed it on my dad for taking her on the top deck of the bus, because she said all them bumps started her off. So yeah, I got the impression it was morning time when she was on the bus journey to the hospital. I don't know if I was born that same day or early the next day, but I think my mum had quite a quick, easy birth with me, and she said I was small, so quite possibly I was born later that day. So maybe I was evening time, something like that. But yeah, I don't know the time. I haven't got a clue. I know the times all my children were born, but I don't know when I was born. Only the day. And the story behind why she went into early labour. So yeah. Do I like art? And if so, who's my favourite artist? Depends what you mean by do I like art. I don't like doing art because I can't really do it. I'm not artistic. I do like looking at art, like when we go to stately homes, I love looking at some of the pictures that they've got and what they depict. So I like that. But like favourite artists, I don't really know many artists. I think the most famous one is Van Gogh, and that's because like the children always did them at school, so they're the ones I know of the most. But I didn't really rate Van Gogh's paintings. I like a painting that's real, that you can see what it is, and it's not all swirly and whirly and joined together. I like something that is like taking a photograph. That's my idea of art, even if it's like a scene that's invented, because like in one of these stately homes, a lot of them resemble biblical pictures. I always look at one, I can't remember which hall, it might be Kedleston Hall in Derbyshire, and I always look at one in there, and it reminds me of the flood of Noah's day, the Nephilim, the giants, and all the water rising, and it reminds me of the flood. So it turned out that it was actually something to do with Greece and a Greek scene, and it so reminds me of the flood. So I'm thinking the Greeks have took their story from that. Because that's what it reminded me of. But the paintings were clear. Who painted it? I don't know. They did say who painted it, but it meant nothing to me. So I've not got no favourite artists or anything like that. I mean, for a while I was interested in Lowry, the work of Lowry, because these matchstick people. And I thought, I can do that. And I think that's why I took an interest, because I thought, I can do matchstick people. Well, I don't know if I could do like the depth with these buildings, because on reflection it just looks like everything's flat and that, but there is more to it than that, you know. So I don't think I could do the more to it bit. I could probably write about it and put it in poetry format, but I couldn't draw it. And more recently, the Banksy painters, you know, the murals that appear on walls and things like that, they interest me. I think they're quite interesting. But yeah, I'm not really into art. I wouldn't be one of these who'd go around art galleries and study art or anything like that, because I'm not into it in that way. I won't say I've got a favourite person either. The same with music. I'm the same with that. You know, proper classical music. I mean, we had to do it at school, or Chopin's and Beethoven's and that, but not into anything like that. It's not my thing. Am I the same in real life as I am on my channel? Yes. Yeah, definitely. A bit quieter in real life, because you know, if I'm out and about, because I'm quite a shy person, I'm quieter. But when you get to know me, or if you speak to me, I soon open up, and yeah, I'm like you see me now, exactly the same, no different. So yeah. Um, have I ever returned something back to a shop and to complain? No, not really. I don't really. I don't buy loads of things that are returnable anyway. I mean, maybe once or twice I've returned something if it doesn't work. I remember we bought some Christmas lights once that were a bit faulty and didn't work, and took them back to the shop and told them, and they swapped them straight away, no problem. I do remember once, actually, Magic's Donkeys years ago, a very long time ago. I remember I used to go shopping with my dad on Saturday to Tesco, and I remember once I bought beans, because I always buy beans, as you know, and I bought beans and come back, and we were having beans because my older children were little then. So we were out the beans, and I opened one of the tins of beans, and it was just all juice. There was one bean, one bean just floating in all of this juice. I couldn't believe it. I looked at it, but it's just juice. No beans except this one. So anyway, I decided I was going to take it all back. I cling filmed it all up, and my dad took me back to Tesco, which is to go to town. I mean, my dad lived a while from me. He was in the countryside. I'm in a rural village a few miles from my dad, or from where he was then. But yeah, and then we had to get to town, which is a good few miles on again. So I this round journey, because I couldn't drive, to take me back with this tin of beans to complain. Then I remember going up, and I was saying, I've got this tin of beans, only got one bean in it, and peeling this cling film off and prizing the lid and showing them. She said, "You carried this all the way without spilling it?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Oh, you didn't need to." She said, "We'd have believed you if you'd just told us." I thought, well, anyone could go and say it, couldn't they? So I took this tin of beans and give it to the woman. She was laughing. That's like, I've never had that before, you know, just somebody eating a tin of beans. It was just all juice and just this one bean floating. But yeah, they're really good. They give me some beans back. I think I got a couple of tins of beans back, and they were laughing. But yeah, that's one that sticks out in my memory. I've never had it since, but that was amazing. All that juice, just one bean. Um, living living frugally. My writing can't read it, because sometimes I get questions come through and I'll just scribble them down, or somebody will say something to me, say a question out. Oh, I'll just jot that down. So then I can't read my writing. Living frugally, how do we do holidays and days out? Well, we've not had a holiday for 2 years now, and I can't see one in the foreseeable future, so that's out of the question. Days out, we mainly go to National Trust properties, because my son and daughter-in-law, they, for the last 3 years, they bought us year's National Trust memberships, which is really useful because we can go around all the local properties and have a nice day out. So I think we're going to attempt some again soon and take Cassie, our dog, with us this time, because they do nice walks and things like that. We never took her before. She's a bit of a pest. I've never wanted to take her, but Sean's insisted we take her, so I think we're going to be taking her shortly, and to the closest one I can find. Or where I've not got to travel too far anyway, and we'll take her then, and we'll see how she goes. But yeah, we tend to do that. We go, just pick a nice day and just say, oh, we'll go to such and such property today and have a walk round and perhaps have a coffee in the cafe or something. We pack a lunch and take with us, and that's what we do really, just have days out like that. Or there's a lot of free places. I'll have a look what's free round and about, and perhaps go and do something that's free. So yeah, that's what we do for days out. I thought, actually, before I go, we've been 26 minutes, there's one thing I'll talk about. And I wasn't asked a question about this, but my friend Victoria from Home Educating the Mad Lads, she'd mentioned about pen friends to me, and it made me remember my pen friend. I thought, oh, that's something I could tell you about when I'd done my questions. I'll just tag it on and tell you about my pen friend. So it'd be like somebody saying to me, have you ever had a pen friend, basically? But yeah, she just reminded me about it. So yeah, I had a pen friend. Well, I had two for a bit, but one was a real one was more, well, not fake, but sort of tagged on. But yeah, my mum and dad worked for what was then British Rail, and British Rail, somewhere, British Rail had this magazine, and well, it wasn't just for British Rail, it was for railways sort of all around Europe. I'll see if I can move this out a minute. And I'm not sure what countries all got it, but it was sort of a magazine that went around Europe and printed in each language, each country's language. And it just told you all about railways, home and abroad, depending where you are, which was home and which was abroad. And it's just about the railways and stories about the railways and interesting things and facts, about it. It's all connected to railways. And people who work for the railways got the magazines free every so often. And because my mum and dad worked for the railways, then we obviously got this magazine. There was a section in it for children as well that children could read. There was like competitions, quizzes, and that kind of thing. And there was a section for pen friends where people were looking for pen friends. And I read it one day, and there was this girl called Jocelyn Garavel, and she was looking for a pen friend from England. So I thought, oh, I'll respond to that. She was the same age as me, so I responded to it. She wrote back, and we became pen friends. And she even came to visit me. I remember my dad had broke his leg at the time, so my dad's friend had to take me down to London to meet this train. And we didn't have the Eurostar then, it didn't exist then. So they came, I'm not sure, they came into London by train, but I can't remember if they got the ferry and then a train to London from Dover, but I met them in London anyway, and her parents had come across with them, giving us all this wine and kissing us and everything, and I think they thought that my dad's friend was my dad, but he wasn't. My dad had broke his leg and couldn't travel at the time. So anyway, we met my friend and we took her back with us, and she came back to us. She stayed a good few weeks with us, and while we were there, we took her to Wales, because my dad come from Wales, so we took her to meet family in Wales, and she thought we were mad. The English were mad, travelling so far. She'd come there, and then we were travelling further on again and going to see other families. So, but she got to see a lot of places then in Wales and in England. We took her out and about the best we could, with my dad being on crutches and everything. So yeah, that was quite nice. She wanted me to go to her. She lived in the south of France. Can't remember the name of the place. All I can remember, the street was something like Route Saint Saturnin, something like that. And I can't remember but it was right in the south of France. So she wanted me to go there, but I was a bit too nervous to go that way on my own. I didn't really want to sort of go because her family didn't speak any English, and she only knew the English to learn at school, so nobody would have understood me. And I might have had to have gone to school with her for a bit if I went in school time, like then it'd been like an exchange, but I wouldn't have understood anything, so I couldn't speak French as good as she could speak English, so I was too nervous to do that because of the language barrier, and I'd have nobody with me to help me sort of thing, so I wouldn't go. But yeah, we were friends for donkey's years. I've still got letters and photos of her, and we were friends for quite a few years. And she also got a friend in school that wanted to start writing to me as well. That was a lad, and he was called Philippe, but oh, he was a one. He kept saying, oh, how nice it would be to come over and go on a boat with you on our own out in the lakes and things like that. And I thought, weirdo. So I didn't write to him again after that, but no thank you. Strange bloke. But the best of it was he couldn't speak a word of English. He wrote it all in French, and I had to give it to my French teacher at school to translate. She was telling me all this stuff he's saying, and I'm like, we won't write to him again. So no, but Jocelyn I was friends with for quite a few years. So yeah, I don't know when we stopped writing really. Probably just before I got married or something. But we were friends for quite a few years. I often wonder if she's still in the same place and what became of her. I mean, I wouldn't know how to find her now to see what she's doing now. But I often wondered what became of her. So yeah, that was the story of my French pen pal. So we'll leave it at that for now. I've done all my questions. Unless I get any more questions, I'll jot them down. And when I've got enough, we'll do a Q&A again. But next week now, I'll probably have a tea and chat, and we'll get back to making me a cup of tea. Probably do a tea and chat about topical things going on. I shall collect things in the week. I mean, I'm often looking at topical things. I read the news every morning on my phone before I get up. I mean, this morning I was talking to Sean about Mount Everest I've seen on the news this morning, because Sean loves Mount Everest. She likes mountaineering and all that kind of thing, and she likes a lot of things, but she's into that, and she was doing some projects on it for a while. So I was saying to her this morning, who I'd read about it, that they'd got a traffic jam on Mount Everest. I was laughing because that's what made me read it, because I thought, how can you get a traffic jam on Mount Everest? And that's when I read it to see that traffic jam actually meant like humans. There was too many of them up there at one certain time period. So it was talking about that. So yeah, I was on about it to Sean, but she knows all about that. So it's just like little things that you read and you think, oh, yeah, that was a good headliner to capture my imagination. Otherwise, I might not have looked at it. But we'll have a look. We'll keep track, and we'll come back and have a tea and chat and whatever. We'll see what there is to chat about, or if there's anything you'd like to chat about, just let me know in the comments down below, or on any video, just let me know in the comments if there's things you think would be good to chat about, you'd like to have a chat about. So yeah, that's that for today then. I'll be back now on I'll try and come back Monday with something. Don't know what I'm going to do. I'll plan something. I'll be organised and plan something. Trouble is, I get too lazy. I have the weekend and think, oh no, I don't know what I can do. Well, I'll leave it today. I'm lazy. So I must come back and think of something today. So yeah, have a lovely weekend, everybody, because I can't believe it's weekend again already. Where did that week go? It just went whoosh, didn't it? The weeks are speeding up, I'm sure they are. So have a nice weekend, and thank you for watching, and take care, everybody. Bye.